So I lost my dad when I was 20 years old, and it was a pretty difficult time of my life. It still affects me till this day, and I regularly share my grief online. And I've come to see that a lot of people don't actually understand the grieving practices that come with being a Muslim or coming from a South Asian heritage. So today we're just going to outline a few things that happen just so you're aware of what a bereavement looks like in this scenario and the best way to support an individual or a family or your friends through this difficult time. Within the Islamic faith, the burial takes place quite quickly after passing away of your loved one. So this is something that can be quite different to most cultures, where there's usually maybe a few weeks or a month or so between the two. One thing to keep in mind is everything happens quite quickly, which can be a lot on the young person. There'll be a lot of things that you might have not been exposed to before, so let's just talk through them and understand what they are and what they mean and how to be present in their grief. As soon as the family member passes away or their loved one, most family members, community members will start gathering at the person's house, coming to give their condolences. This is something that's highly encouraged and is very normal within our communities. However, it can get a little bit overwhelming. I remember feeling like I couldn't breathe and that there were so many people around, and I didn't have the space to fully express my grief and process the loss that had happened around me. So it can be nice to offer the young person some support by offering them to go on a walk or taking them out just so they can get a little bit of headspace, because this practice of coming and giving the condolences can take from one day to a month. For example, people will come and go, people will fly in, drive down, even stay over at the family home. So in this time, I think it's really important to just make yourself aware to that person and try and offer help around the house. This is the best thing to do because there's a lot of formalities that unfortunately come with the giving condolences practices. So giving a hand can be good because often the family can be too busy processing their grief that they don't have time to do other things like that. So there's a lot going on at home, and there's a lot of preparation going in for the funeral, which is going to take place almost immediately. Things can be quite intense and also very different. In the case of the Islamic faith, there's a few different things that happen. There is a washing of the body known as a ghusl, and this takes place privately. And then there is also the shrouding, which is known as the coffin. So these are two sheets, a few sheets that of white cloth that are put over the body before it's put into the coffin. Once this is done, then the coffin is either taken to the site of the burial, so the cemetery or the mosque, for the actual funeral prayer, which is known as the janaza. This will happen at the mosque or the cemetery, and it's a short unit of prayers. And in this prayer, everyone will stand up and will supplicate for the person who has passed away, for their family, and just pray for everyone's well-beings. It's usually a very short prayer. Um, in my case, when my dad passed away, we had the prayer at the mosque and then we went down to the cemetery. In my scenario, we had the imam and my cousins and my uncles lowering the body down into the burial ground. And then after that was done, the imam again raised his hands and we all did a dua. A dua is like this, so you'll often see people doing this. This again is another supplication that people do just to pray for the deceased. If you want to support and you want to be present in their grief and you want to know what goes on, the best way to support them is to show up and just be there. A lot of my friends showed up for me and on the day of the janaza, and it meant so much to me, even though it was a different concept to them. Showing up really does make a difference. If you're attending the janaza, it's also best to be mindful of how you're dressed, and you are more than welcome to take part in the prayer. It's completely up to you. After the burial, then everyone returns back to the family house and the condolences continue. Another thing that happens during this time is that a lot of people come prayers and reading of the Quran, the holy book. This is encouraged for the deceased person as a form of charity. This will continue for a while. So bearing that all in mind and reflecting on my past experience, I would suggest first of all just showing up. Showing up is just the best thing. Even if you just sit in the corner, like that means a lot. I knew a lot of people who just came and they just sat there and listened to what I had to say, and that was really special. Another thing that one of my friends did was plant a tree in the name of my dad. This basically acts as a form of charity. There's many more things like feeding the hungry and sponsoring an orphan. I think this is a really beautiful way that you can support a young Muslim person through grief, because it's encouraging them to use tools from their faith that support their grief in a really positive way. I think it's also just really important to constantly check in after most of the condolences have finished. So let's say after a couple of days, a week, or 10 days, depending on the situation of the loss, when the house becomes more empty and the grief starts to settle in more, to keep checking in because it can become a lot. When going from a house that's full of people and the constant distractions and reminders of your grief to suddenly feeling isolated in a home that you used to live with that person, it can be a lot going from that transition. And often people tend to go on with their lives, which is the way of the world. What I appreciated most was people who kept checking and saying, "Hey, I hope you're okay. Hey, would you like to go out? Hey, I'm only just a call away." But having someone there to just check in on you constantly is one of the best ways of providing comfort.